हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। तो आज हम लोग शुरू करने वाले हैं इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स। ठीक है, इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स क्या होते हैं, कितने कितने रिफॉर्म हुए। ठीक है, चलिए शुरू करते हैं। पॉपुलरली इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स डिनोट्स द प्रोसेस इन विच अ गवर्नमेंट प्रिस्क्राइब्स द डिक्लाइनिंग रोल फॉर द स्टेट एंड एक्सपेंडिंग रोल फॉर द प्राइवेट सेक्टर इन एन इकोनॉमी। एक्सपेंडिंग रोल फॉर द प्राइवेट सेक्टर एंड डिक्लाइनिंग रोल फॉर द स्टेट। ठीक है, सो दैट So let's unravel the reform process based on the author's classroom interactions with the student. It is safer to see economic reforms as a policy shift in an economy from one to another or alternative development strategies. Economists attribute the differences in the performance of economies to the differences in the strategies. They and the different strategies of development evolved through a long period of trial and error by the different countries under the influence of different sets of ideologies. But the process has been like an educational trip to understand the term economic reform and more so to clarify the confusion concerning it in the Indian context. We must see different alternative development strategies which evolved through time. A brief descriptions of each given below. Planning model, Washington consensus, and mixed economy. And these things we have been studied earlier chapters. So let's move on. Economic reforms in India. On July 23, 1991, India launched a process of economic reforms in response to a physical and balance of payment crisis. The reform was historic and were going to change the very face and the nature of the economy in the coming times. The reform and the related programs are still going on with changing emphasis and dimensions, but they are criticized as being slow ever since the UPA government came to power in May 2004. Back in mid 1980s, the government had taken its first step to economic reforms. While the reform of the 1980s witnessed a rather limited deregulation and partial liberalization of only a few aspects of existing control regime, and the reforms started in early 1990s in the field of industries, trade, investment, and later to include the agriculture were much wider and deeper. Though liberal policies were announced by the governments during the reform of the 1980s itself, with the slogan of economic reform, it was only launched with full convictions in the early 1990s. But the reform of 1980s, which were under the influence of famous Washington consensus ideology, had a crippling impact on the economy. The whole Seventh Plan 1985 to 19 promoted further relaxation of market regulations with heavy external borrowings to increase export as the thrust of policy reforms. Though the thrust increased the growth rate, led by higher industrial growth, riding on costly imports supported by foreign borrowings, which the industries would not be able to pay back and service. It also led to a substantial increase in foreign indebtedness that played a major role in balance of payment crisis of 1991. I hope you got it this point. The crisis was aggravated faster by the first Gulf War 1991, which had two two-pronged negative impact on the foreign exchange reserve of the India. First, the war led the oil prices to go upward, forcing India to use its forex reserve in a shorter period. And second, the private remittances from Indians working in the Gulf region fell fast due to their emergency evacuation. Both the crises were induced by the single cause, that is Gulf War, but the balance of payment crisis also reflected deeper problem of the rising foreign debt, a physical deficit of over 8% of the GDP, and hyperinflation over 13% situation. The minority government of the time had taken a highly bold and controversial step in the form of economic reforms. criticized throughout the 1990s by the one and all, right from the opposition in the parliament to the communist parties to the industrial houses and to business houses, media, expert and masses. Why now, as the benefits of the reforms have accrued to many criticism, has somewhat calmed down, but still the reform process is considered as anti-poor and pro-rich by at least the masses. The people who decide the political mandate for the country to rule, at least one beliefs is followed by everybody. That is the benefit of reforms are not trickling down to the masses, the Aam Aadmi, at the desirable pace. The need of the hour is go for the distributive growth through the reform had lead the economy to a higher growth path. Obligatory reforms. Similar reform process started by some other economies since the 1990s were voluntary decision of economic concern. But in the case of India, it was an involuntary decision taken by the government of the time in the wake of balance of payment crisis. Under the Extended Fund Facility program of IMF, countries received external currency support from the fund to mitigate their balance of payment crisis. But such support have some obligatory conditionalities put on the economy to be fulfilled. There are no set rules of such condition already available with the IMF, though they are devised and prescribed to the balance of payment crisis ridden economy at the time of need. A point needed to be referred here is that conditionalities put upon India were of nature which required all the economic measures to be formulated by them. It means that the reforms India carried or is carrying out at present were neither formulated by India nor mandated by the public. Yes, there was a large sections of experts inside and outside the government who believed in similar economic reforms, measures to guide the economy on the right path. Some of them were arguing the same since 1970, while the many other experts believed in them since the mid 1990s. But why, after all, was the Rao Manmohan government created to start reforming process in India? And it is because they thought it's suitable to follow the make it politically possible in India. Imagine a government proposing to sell the state-owned companies to the private sector or closing them down in a country which has been convinced that these companies will be the temple of modern India, and the masses were convinced that the government has bowed down to dictates of the IMF and the imperialistic forces and multinationals. Even today, such feelings are prevalent in several quarters of the economy. The politics of the economic reform damaged India more than the reform has benefited the country. It would not be an accusation if we conclude that economic reform had no political consensus. Political parties in India are divided on the issue of reform. The parties, together with the masses, lack the level of political maturity required for the success of the reform program. It is right. Democratic maturity comes to a multi-party political system, but it takes time. It takes even more time when masses are unaware and ignorant, and emotional issues of religion, caste, so forth play their own roles in such situations. The IMF conditions put forth for India were as follows: devaluation of the rupee by 22%, which was affected in two phases, and Indian rupee fell down 21 to 27 per US dollar. Drastic reduction in peak import tariff from prevailing level of 130% to 30%. India completed by 2001 to 2001 itself. Now it's voluntary cut to level of 15%. Excise duties now CENVAT, yani Central Value Added Tax, to be hiked by the 20% to neutralize the revenue shortfall. Due to the custom cut, a major tax reform program was launched to streamline, simply and modernize the Indian tax structure, which is ongoing. ठीक है, और कुछ पॉइंट हैं क्या? हाँ, एक पॉइंट और है. All government expenditure to be cut down by 10% annually. That is cutting the cost of running the government, which denotes interest, pays, pension, PF and subsidies, etc. There was pressure on the government to consolidate the fiscal deficit and go for the fiscal prudence. Though India was able to pay back its IMF dues in times, the structural reform of the economy was launched to fulfill the above mentioned condition of the IMF. The ultimate goal of IMF was to help India bring about equilibrium in its way of balance of payment situations in the short term and opt for macroeconomics and structural adjustments so that in future the economy faces no such crisis. And there was enough scope for the critics to criticize India's economic reform as prescribed and dictated by the IMF. The process of economic reform in India had to face several criticisms from almost every quarter of the economy concerned, even though the reforms were aimed to boost growth and deliver competitiveness to the economy. And this is done for the today. Keep watching my video and we will talk the next topic tomorrow. Thank you so much.